Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's Kluster.
Well, diving straight into it, with all my guests, right? Maybe apart from a few, I always like to start right at the beginning, right? Right at the beginning of their channels, how they got started. So for you, how did you get involved in commentary and stuff? How did you start your channel?
All right, well, Samuel, thank you for having me on the Trash Talk podcast. All right.
No worries, man.
How I start when I start. So, I've actually had plenty of YouTube channels before Kluster. Like, my first YouTube channel that I ever created was actually like back in 2012.
Oh wow.
And I do like the usual what every like kid in the UK does. They just copy KSI when they create a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. I had a whole bunch of YouTube channels. First one 2012, then I made one in 2016. It was a gaming one, and I deleted that. Then I made some. I remember in 2017 I made a YouTube channel, and I was basically just copying Luna. I was just making like story time videos, like over like gameplay. But then I had to fucking take down that channel because I don't know. I would like create a channel, make some videos, and after a couple months delete it. And in 2020, it was lockdown. And in April, so lockdown started in like March time. Like the next month, I was just fucking bored. So I was like, I'm gonna create a YouTube channel. So Kluster, originally it was called Noob, and I made like free gaming videos. And there was like supposed to be like these gaming videos that were highly edited. They were complete shit, and they were getting like no views. So I was like, okay, I need to make something else. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do commentary, and I don't know. I just during this time, I used to watch Kavos, and like I was watching his newer videos, and like a lot of the shit like he was saying was very hypocritical. Like back in like 2016, 17, he would like criticize people for clickbaiting. Like for example, for clickbaiting, and like he's like made like some clickbait thumbnails and videos and titles. So I'm like, what the fuck, bro? So I had like a whole bunch of points against him. So I was like, I'm gonna rename my channel from Noob to Joker because I'm a big fucking Joker fanboy. So I made that Kavos video, and I remember I uploaded it. I went to bed. I woke up. I looked at the video, and it had 30 views. I was like, holy fuck. Because before I'd upload these... Yeah, I've gone viral. I'd upload these gaming videos. I go to bed, wake up, 0 views, and had 0 views like the whole time. I was like, 30 fucking views. Holy shit, that's amazing. And I had like 2 hate comments, but I didn't give a shit because it's like, holy shit, this gets views. And then when 2020 ended and it was like 2021, I was like, you know what? I don't want my name to be Joker. Like I need my own like identity because I literally just stole this from fucking Batman. All right. So I was like, one day I was thinking, I was like, what the fuck should my name be? And I'm a big fan. I don't know if you know the channel, The Angry Grandpa Show.
Yeah.
I used to like fucking watch them all the time. And Angry Grandpa, they made a video 11 years ago where Angry Grandpa goes shopping. And when he's putting his nephews in his van, like before they go shopping, he goes, "This is a goddamn clusterfuck." And I was like, clusterfuck? Cluster? I was like, holy shit, like this is the truth. I'm not making this up. I was like, cluster, holy fuck, that's a great name. But instead of a C, I'm going to put a K. So I renamed it to Kluster and then started making more commentary videos. And yeah, I'm here now. So
I mean, it's a better story of like how you got your name than mine. Mine was got bored one day. My original name was just like it was literally just Cat123. It was awful.
Let's go.
You know, it was great. And I was like, well, what's my actual name? Well, it's Samuel, right? Who do I like? I like Jackmate and unfortunately I'm Alex. So let's just add a couple of fucking extra letters. Unfortunate, but I think I kind of made up for the I'm Alex thing.
Yeah.
Recently this year, I think I'm more than made up for.
Oh shit, bro. Is he still your favorite YouTuber, bro? I'm Alex.
yeah, I love I'm Alex now.
Yeah, everyone does.
My favorite bit was when he stubbed his toe, man. Absolutely iconic moment.
Exactly.
But diving like more into the content, right? Of course, like you said, right? You had a content evolution, right? You went from doing like these gameplay stuff to like now where you're at now with like these videos like the mini lad one, for example.
Yeah.
So how did that come about to get to the point where you're doing the commentary content that you're doing like right now, like in this moment?
So, like before, I was making like just like gameplay commentary. I did that all the way till like 2023. And I also did like because the type of content I make now, I guess, is like mini documentary type content. I guess that's how you describe it. And I like made a few of those while I was doing gameplay commentary. But the reason why I made the transition is because gameplay commentary, it gets views like the first 48 hours and then the video dies. Like,
it drops off. Yeah,
exactly. Like if you like, for example, I made a gameplay commentary video last year called KSI is a Moron, and I was talking about how when he made his video on Tommy Fury, how he told his fans, "I'll go harass Tommy Fury." I made a video like criticizing him, like, "Hey, you're a fucking piece of shit for saying this," and it got about 6,000 views. And then after that, I made another video called "How KSI Lost His Fan Base." And it was like going over like a lot of controversies that I've gotten cancelled and stuff like that, and that got way more views because it's people would rather watch like a video where like how the fuck do I fucking word this? I can't speak. People would rather watch a longer video of everything KSI has done than just like one video, like for one thing. So that's why I made the transitions, because I was there like, okay, well, gameplay commentary gets views after 48 hours and it just fucking dies. And ever since I made the transition, my fucking channel's been like growing. Like,
oh yeah, man.
In summer 2023, I made videos on Omrecker and Minilad, and they fucking popped off. And I've just been making like this type of like content, and my channel's been like, it hasn't been growing like this fast. Like back when I did gameplay commentary, it was like growing very slowly, and then ever since I made the transition, it's just fucking shot up. So I wish to continue doing that. So that's the reason. Just gameplay commentary. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna fucking grow. That's it. It's just growth.
Yeah, and I think the thing with gameplay commentary, or what it is now, is like slop commentary, right?
Exactly.
What it's been deemed now, like I have a channel just like literally called Slop Meal, right? And it's just daily commentary, whatever, right? You've got to do daily stuff, right? If you want to do that like slop type content, right? Commentary, whereas you don't grow, right? So unfortunately, that's just what it is. But the documentary content, that's where it's at right now, right? That and short form or whatever you want to do, right? Whatever section inside you're on, right? I dabble in just everything. It's always great to keep doors open.
Well, I also I have a second channel called Kluster Live, and I also make like slop content, but the videos are only like a minute or 2 minutes long, because I just summarize what's happening. But I'm like, I don't want to push this to like 8 minutes. Like what the fuck can I say? Like that's gonna push this to 8 minutes. Yeah, so
like if the video gets to 8 minutes, it gets to 8 minutes, right?
Exactly.
And those videos are fun. Like I love doing like slop and stuff, just talking. Nothing wrong with it.
Everyone has like a problem with like slop content. Like I think like Soggy Cereal made a video like YouTube has a slop problem.
Yeah.
But honestly, personally, I think slop content's fine. Like I understand the criticism. It's just like lazy like shit content, but like it's not. I don't know. It's I don't. I guess maybe I'm saying this because I used to make slop content as well, so that's probably the reason why I'm saying this. But I don't know. It's just I don't have as much of a problem with it as most people.
See, I think Lyrics did a really good video on like slop content, and like his thoughts on it. And this is where I tend to agree. Is like, if you've got all your information, right, I don't see an issue, right? Like, pump out as much slop as you want, right? It's got an audience, entertains people, keeps people up to date, right? Most people will look at a slop video like that. And even when it comes to shorts or whatever, I do shorts, right? Admittedly, right? It's got an audience, they're easy to do, right? Not the best content ever, but not harming anyone. It kind of is what it is with it. And like, and with the documentaries now, what is it? People call like documentary content like a documentary slop now, and it's like you can't win regardless of what you do. So it's like everything is called slop now. So it's like to do whatever you want to do, right? Have several channels for it. So fuck it.
Exactly.
But on your content, and like specifically in the Minilad ones, right? They've done really well for your channel, right? Like if we take a look at your channel, one of them 1 year ago, like how the Vanos crew responded to the Minilad, that's got 2.3 million. Your other really popular video is Minilad's Pathetic Return from 10 months ago, which is 1.1 million. How do you like deal with that? Because those are really big videos, right? They're by far your most viewed, right? How do you deal with that when they're blowing up? Because I ask content creators how the reaction is, right? Because a lot of people don't know how to cope, right, or how to move forward with that. So, like, how was that with you when those videos really popped off for you?
when those videos did well, here's the thing. I wasn't like, I mean, I was like happy that they like did well, but like I wasn't like going crazy over it. Like, let's go, a video's doing well. Like once, like when I made my Mini Lad's Pathetic Return, like when it was doing well, I was like, great, it's doing well. I'm happy. On to the next video. Like, like I'm not sitting there on this Mini Lad video like, yes, it's going well. I'm just there like, okay, on to the next video. Okay, on to the next video. Because I remember back in 2021, I made videos on Omreca. They're gone now because they were shit. But I've just privated them. I haven't deleted them. But one of them got 700,000 views, and I remember at that time, because I was very small back in 2021. I had like 90 subscribers, and then I made this Omreca video, and I woke up the next morning, I had like 120, and I went up to a fucking 1,000. And the Omreca video got like 700,000 views, and I was excited as fuck. I was like, yes, let's fucking go. But then, I don't know. It's just, now I'm just there like, okay, cool. Like, on to the next video. Like,
yeah, definitely. Like,
I mean, that's how, I don't know. That's just how, like, my Zuckles video, like, did well. Like, I made a month ago, got about 200,000 views. And I'm like, oh, great. You know, that's cool. But, you know, on to the next one. That's, I don't know.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, that's a good mindset to have. Like, I've spoken to a lot of people, right? Like smaller content creators that like end up just blowing up randomly, right? Because of big video, or you know, they're doing well, and then they have this really big video around. A lot of people just don't know how to cope with it, right? Don't know how to move forward. They've just had a video with 1 million. They don't know how to, you know, what to do next, right? What piece of content to upload next? They kind of freeze, all right? So it's good you didn't do that, right? Like I've spoken to a lot of like different commentators and like content creators who have had these videos, and it does seem like everyone has like this kind of varied reaction depending on how long you've been doing content, you know, depending on all those like type of stuff, and I guess for you as well, you've been doing content for like so long, right, on different channels for like years. So for you it's kind of like, you know, let's just do the next thing because that's normal, right?
Well, do you know why these people like freeze like after making a video and it blows up and they just don't know what to do? Because me, I'm just there like, okay, cool. Well, now next video, you know, like why?
Well, like I know when I was speaking to like some of them, it's like because they're like newer to content, that they want to try and ride the wave, maybe type of stuff like that, or they've just got this like big viewership really quickly, so like a bunch of subscribers really quickly, and they don't know what to do next. So I think it's just kind of like a fight or flight type thing. So I think that's what it comes down to. But like I mean, I've never had like a long form release with like, you know, 1 million plus or whatever. But I know like during the Wilbur stuff and the Alex stuff, when like my coverage was doing really well. You know, you just, you know, move on. You do the next piece of coverage, you keep going or whatever.
Exactly.
But I guess it just depends how long you've been doing content, because I've been doing commentary stuff since like 2016, like in like some
shit.
So, you know, I've been doing it for a while.
Long time. Yeah, fucking hell.
So it's just kind of like the case of, you know, I've had this like do really well, let's move on, let's like hope the next thing does well, and if not, you just keep doing it, right? But I think some people can't cope with that. But you know, hopefully those content creators that do like kind of freeze, you know, it's just a thing that they're newer content creators.
Well, mate, what I don't understand is, I'm gonna go on like a tiny bit of a rant. All right,
all good, man.
If I can, just
yeah.
What I don't understand is when someone's video flops. All right, they complain. I saw it today. Someone complaining about, I don't know who it was, some other commentary channel. They were complaining about their video flopping. Like, oh, my video got 10 out of 10. Oh, you win some, you lose some. And I'm like, what is complaining about? Listen, I've had videos that have flopped many fucking times. All right, and it sucks. Like, I'll upload a video thinking it's gonna do well, and it flopped. I'm like, okay, that sucks. But you know what? On to the fucking next one. All right. What is complaining on fucking Twitter, like, oh, my video got a 10 out. How this? Okay, listen, for anyone listening to this, right? And you want to fucking complain on Twitter about your video doing badly, okay? Tell me, is you complaining on Twitter about your video doing bad, is that going to make it a 1 out of 10? Exactly. No, it's not. You're wasting your fucking time crying about this when you should be putting that time into making another fucking video, okay? So please, like, commentary people, like, if anyone's listening to this, don't fucking just listen. If it goes bad, move on to the next one. If it does good, that's great, but move on to the next one. That's the mentality you should have, in my opinion. But
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's no point complaining about it, right? Like, and I always look for the positives, right? If a video does bad, or like I say bad, right? I was like, look, does it have over 1,000 views? If it does, then great, right? Like, set little goals for yourself, and if it's a pass, you can never like be incredibly disappointed. I think people have so high expectations of themselves, right? Like, oh, this video's going to do great, this video's going to bang, this one's going to blow up, and then when it doesn't, you know, they just feel depressed.
Exactly. You shouldn't have expectations. You shouldn't be like, oh, this, because I used to think like, oh, this is going to blow up, and then it didn't. Like, just because if you don't have expectations, then you won't be disappointed. Just upload it and be like, okay, let's see how this goes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
like for some videos, you're always going to have an inkling that, okay, I think this might possibly do well because like the current climate, what's currently going on or whatever. But like, you shouldn't have expectations that will, right? Because you just set yourself up for failure. Like, I don't think I've ever like uploaded a video where I've gone, this video is going to 100% like blow up. This video I know, right? This video is going to do great, because you just end up setting yourself up for failure and you get really demotivated, right? Kind of like fucks you up. And there's no point complaining about it, right? Like, I think the only post I've ever done is like, I remember like, I think it was like a year ago, I got like a bunch of comments saying, oh, this video did shit or whatever, and I just like put a pin comment saying, you know, not every video does well. You just move on and you just upload your next piece of content. No, that's what it is, right? You just take it on the chin and move on.
That's how it is.
But a lot of commentary creators, mainly like the smaller ones, always complain. It's always on my feed. Always complaining about videos not doing well. And it just makes them an easy target to like make fun of as well, right? You're constantly complaining.
And mate, I also don't fucking I also don't like it when a video of theirs does well and they like flex on Twitter.
Oh my god, yeah.
This one guy posted like a screenshot of his YouTube revenue, and he's like, "Oh, I made my first $1,000. Oh, I'm so fucking happy." And they're like, good for you, bro. But no one gives a shit.
No one cares.
Why are you rubbing in my face that you just made $1,000? Okay, but hey, that's cool, bro. But I don't care. Let's see how your next video is going to do. Oh, it flopped. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I hate, like, unless I'm talking to another content creator or someone that uploads content, right? I never, like, talk about analytics, views, or anything like that. Like, I think it's always, like, you know, for me, it's always a subject that's, like, you know, I'd rather not, right? Unless it's with a content creator, and we're talking about, like, you know, statistics and stuff like that, and, like, retention, and, like, you know, like, how to make videos better. I do that with, like, Meme Frog a lot. But people will like flex the numbers, constantly talk about it, put screenshots, right? And no one gives a fuck unless you're thanking people for like hitting 100k, right? Like no one cares. Like when that happens, it's really nice, right? Everyone like puts their nice comments, right? It's great. Other than that, no one cares. It's like no one cares about analytics. Like,
yeah, I know. It's just I don't know. That's just my problems with it, bro.
I think it just comes off as cunty, right? Like you're so up yourself that you feel like you have to post about it. It's like if a video does well, it does well, right? It's like, oh, it's great. You know, if you want to talk about anything, right? Maybe talk about, oh yeah, like I had this real nice thumbnail done, like someone did this thumbnail for me, like thank you or whatever. You know, like celebrate. Celebrate the people, not go, oh look at the viewership. The regular audience doesn't care.
Look at me, bro. Look at me and all the money I made. Oh guys, please give me some validation. I'm like, haha, fuck you. So.
Yeah, look how good I'm doing. It's like none of the actual general audience, right? And this is the thing that always pisses me off. There was a guy, I don't know if you remember, but there was a commentary creator a few years ago called Zero Needs Coffee.
I do remember. Yeah.
And like he had a situation with Klapsil. That's where people know him from. But he would post about his analytics a lot, right? It'd be like, oh, everyone in their like grandma has like 100k now, or I want more, or whatever. It's like, you just look like a cunt, right? You just look like an absolute prick. Like no one cares. Like the general audience, right? When they see something like, unless it's like 100k or it's a milestone that you've been like really trying to push for, no one cares. Right, like the general audience doesn't care. Content creators don't care. I think it's always different with the milestones, right? Because it's like a big achievement, right? It's always a big milestone. Like that's why, like 100k, a million. If you're trying to reach 500k or whatever, it's always great, right? It's like I love those posts. It's always the most wholesome like reply you will ever get from a commentators ever is when someone's hit a big goal like that. But otherwise, no one cares. But I think small commentary and like smaller commentary creators and all this type of shit, they have like an obsession with numbers and stuff.
Yeah, and they got fucking egos for some reason, even though they're like minuscule and they have like no right to have one. Like,
yeah, you should just like you know where you stand, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just remember where you are, bro. Okay,
exactly.
You ain't no Mr. Beast. Okay.
Yeah, and that's like always my views. Like I've had some videos that done well. I'm more popular in short form than I'm long form. I stay in my lane and I'm chilling, right?
Yeah.
And then,
so it should be.
Exactly, right? Like you're doing really well in your lane, right? But nobody's talking about it. Like you're not going on Twitter flexing about it.
Yeah.
and happy days.
Exactly.
But people have just got egos now. I think everyone has a bit of an ego, right? That's just life. But smaller commentators and smaller creators have too much of an ego now.
Yeah, listen, it's okay to have an ego because like an ego is what like drives you like to want to do better, but not like an ego like a small like one of these small commentators like we're talking about, where you have to fucking brag about it or you cry when your video does well. Just I don't know, bro. That's just.
I think just to sum this bit up, right? You have confidence in your own video, right? Like, I think I made a good video here, right?
Yeah,
like, this video I've uploaded, good. But then you on the flip side of that, then you can recognize when you've uploaded a shit video or whatever, right? It's just a balance. And look, if you think you made a good video, I think that's that's the right type of ego to have, right? The bit that's self motivating.
That's the one I meant.
The self motivation. But like, just speaking of like, of course, you're currently on a podcast, right? You have a podcast of your own, right? With Wacky and Narcoleptic. Tell me a bit about that, how that comes together, right? Like how did that, happen? Because I know, of course, you're all friends.
Yeah.
But how's that podcast?
So, that podcast came together. Well, Wacky had a podcast called what's it called? What was it called? Hot Potato Podcast. And it was with Mean Frog and some guy called Kamai.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and then that fucking fell off. I don't know. There's some shit happened behind the scenes. Nothing bad, but just like then everyone just like split off. So then Wacky was like, "Oh, do you guys want to like do a podcast like me and Narco? Because we're like us three. We're pretty close. Like we talk together in VCs a whole bunch of regularly. So we're like, yeah, sure. Let's do the podcast, and we decided to call it Loose Weight. Loose Weight. It's not the greatest name, right? Like we just like rushed the name. What it was me and Narco. We were on Discord and we were talking about Tipster, and one of us said, "Fucking hell, Tipster needs to lose some weight." And I went, "Wait, lose weight? loose weight podcast?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's fucking brilliant, Loose Weight Podcast."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not the greatest name, but like, I don't know, at the time we were just there, like we were like scrambling for fucking names. So we're like, okay, Loose Weight Podcast, I'll do. And originally, like in the beginning, we like posted a bunch of times. Like we get into VC and like, okay, when's the next podcast? We got a whole bunch of guests. We had LT Mayhem, we had fucking Jalen, Lyrics. We haven't done a podcast in like 5 months because like, I don't know, we've been doing the podcast for over a year, and like over time we just kind of, I don't know, we don't talk about it anymore. We just, when we get into VCs, we're just like talking about like, oh, how's your day been and shit like that, and stuff that's going on in our personal lives. Like we don't really talk anymore about like, oh, let's fucking talk about this topic on the podcast. Like it's, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just we just stopped like caring about it. I mean, we're still doing the podcast. Like we'll like make a video like eventually. Last one we did was we interviewed Brad Does Banter.
Yeah,
and cheers. And fucking we'll do one soon, I think. But like it's not something that like we're focused on. Like we have other things in our lives that we're focused on. But it was, I mean, I liked doing the podcast. It was a fun experience. I liked having like guests on and talking to them. That's like the thing I enjoyed, like talking to Brad Does Banter. Like I didn't really like have I had an idea of who Brad was, but I wasn't like a fan of his content back in the day. But fucking Wacky and Narco were, so they were like really excited to have him on. So I was like, okay, well I'll talk to him. But he was a cool guy. So
and I mean, when it comes to something like that, right? You're all friends, right? You'd rather do a podcast when you want to do one rather out of necessity.
Exactly.
Right? It always makes the content better, right? Like I've got like alongside the TrashTalk like podcast where I like interview guests, I've got like the Topic podcast, right? And that's with like Spinling, Ace, and like Meme Frog and a couple other people, right?
Yeah.
And I'd always rather do them like not out of necessity, but like when there's a good topic or when everyone's really passionate about something. So the iMalik stuff, that was great, right? When everyone really cared about that. Always rather do it when it's like that rather than out of a need, right? There's just no point.
Oh, bro, I completely agree. Sorry, I have to just cut you off, but
no worries.
Because I remember we did a podcast episode on Aiden Ross. It was when he striked like one of Internet Anarchist's videos.
Oh, yeah.
at the time, I remember we were recording the podcast, and like towards the end, Narco says, "Look, we're a bit low energy because, like before the podcast, like I don't know why I was just like in a tired, shitty mood, and I like didn't give a shit about the whole Aiden Ross and internet anarchist thing because I don't know, I just didn't care. Like I remember in the podcast, I was like, oh man, I like Aiden Ross, bro. Like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and then Jay was like, "What do you mean you want to give him the benefit of the doubt?" I was like, "Oh fuck, I mean." And I remember in that podcast, I fucking like had a tiny bit of a breakdown. Like we cut it out because I told them cut it out. This is not good to leave it in there. But I was like, guys, can we just fucking scrap this episode? Like I can't be asked. And they're like, no, let's keep going. So I was like, okay, fine. And then we finished the podcast. And at the end of that podcast, if you listen to it, I go, oh, it'd be great if we could just scrap this whole podcast because that's the thing. Like I can't do one where like I don't give a shit about the topic or if I just can't be asked. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've had like that experience as well.
Especially, like of course not so much with the guest one because it's just kind of me with the guests.
Yeah.
Which I always feel better, right? Because I don't have to rely on like other co-hosts. It's just me and the guest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if I get that sorted, it's fine, right? Because I know my limits. I know that I'll always turn up, right? Unless like something's happened.
Yeah.
Where of course when you're in a group of people, right, you have to rely on everyone to be there, right? And that's kind of the issue I had with like the topic podcast. Was that like Spindling had to be free, like Amos, Meme Frog, all these other people, right, had to be free, and it kind of just like didn't work in that respect. And like I remember an episode like a few months ago, I was trying to go over a few topics, and we had like Himpleton there, right, and like this episode never saw the light of day, for very obvious reasons, right? It just did not go well. A lot of venting, a lot of horrible stuff. But everyone was arguing. Like Amos didn't want to be there, so I was like calling everything a nothing burger, right? So it was like a really toxic vibe where it just was shit, right? And you have that quite a bit, and like depending on everyone's mood, it really sets the episode. Like there's been like I think we did like 3 episodes that came out of the topic podcast, and like it really depends on like everyone's mood, like how well they do, like in terms of viewership, right? Because if one guy is sitting there constantly complaining, doesn't do well, it's not good for everyone else there. Like again, a good example is when the Alex stuff was happening, right? Like me, Spindling, my friend Fabio, who also on there. Everyone was really excited about talking about the Alex stuff.
Right.
But Amos was calling it a nothing burger, right? And he was in a mood about it.
Fucking hell, a nothing burger, yeah.
Nothing burger is quite wild for that. So it does set the tone, it sets the mood, right? And it can kill like a podcast really quickly, right? If some people there don't really want to be there for certain times, right? And that's why it's always great to do an episode when everyone wants to rather than out of need, right? Because it kills a podcast really quickly for motivation and all that good stuff. So when you've got a podcast with like more than like 2 people, right? It's always good to just take breaks, do it when you want to do it, and especially when you're friends, right? The worst thing you want, right, is to like fall out over a podcast, right? Because certain people aren't in like a good mood at that time.
Yeah, don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the issue with like a lot of like group channel content, podcasts, and stuff like that. Is friends do it, then they end up getting angry at each other because nothing's going right in the episode or whatever. Could cause these rifts and issues. I've seen that firsthand with quite a few people.
Oh damn, bro!
Don't want to throw Amos under the bus again. All right. But yeah, your podcast could do. Of course, you've had Turkey Tom on, like Brad does.
Oh
Banner,
fuck,
like 2 notable people.
Turkey Tom. I forgot. Bro, it's been so long. I forgot we had him on. Yeah.
How was that? I know when he came on TrashTalk, great guy. Like answered the questions like to like like a good extent. Like how was he for like you lot?
He was Turkey Tom was cool. We just talk normally. I remember me, Wacky, and Narco, we have like a Google Doc, and like we put like questions there, and I kept putting like the question, oh, what's your beef with Lyrics, bro? Like I really wanted to know like that whole situation, but they were like, no, we're not fucking asking that. All right, we don't want him to like potentially leave the podcast. All right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it's just like, bro, what's your beef with Lyrics, bro? All right, is that whole like Kai thing,
Yeah.
I joke, but I mean, he was Tom was cool. Just I don't know, I like his content, but as soon as the podcast ended, he left, and that was the end of that. He was just all right, dude. That's it.
So like with questions and stuff with the podcast, like it's always really hard to like see like what to ask, right, without like stepping over, right? Unless it's like an episode. Where it's like a confrontational episode, right? Where they're there to answer questions about something controversial, right? It's really hard to like gauge what won't make them like run away or leave. Especially on commentary, right? Like it's so unpredictable, right? So like, especially with my podcast at least, it's always like I try to ask open-ended questions, right? Questions that can go kind of anywhere. Like I did it with a guy called Cam Nuggets. Like all my questions.
Cam Nuggets.
Yeah, poor
Okay.
fucker. So like I'd ask him a question, and I'll just let him respond. Right, I'll let him tell the story rather than me like saying the story and then asking the question, because it always ends up in a better response, right? Because it's always comes from them rather than me. And you know, then they can only have themselves to blame if they fuck up, right? They can't say I'll put any words in their mouth. And I think with podcasts, especially in commentary, it's really interesting because there are so many live streams, podcasts, especially now. I think the last year or so, like there's been a lot more, right? A lot more podcasts. There's a lot more competition, and commentators can get really agitated when they get asked certain questions, right? Because they're not used to it. They're used to the ones doing that.
Oh, Samuel, mate, okay. Actually, I can't say like what happened or like who, like the guest, but we had a guest on Loose Weight. I can't say what happened, but we asked him a question, and he like stayed silent. And we're like, oh shit, like, because it was like a pretty, like, I don't know, it was like a serious, I don't know, it was like a question that was like, we wanted to know, like, because there was like a rumor going around, and we asked him like the question because like the rumor was circulating around him, and he just stayed quiet, and he goes, listen guys, I'm not trying to be gay, but can we not like can we like move on, because like there is like a lot of shit that I can't say. But I remember we were like, oh fuck, has he left? Because he just like stayed silent when we asked him like this question. He just stayed silent. I was like, oh fuck, like is he gonna leave now? Like
it's always great when something like that happens, because it's so weird. Like you don't know how to deal with it, and they don't know how to deal with it, and it always gets really awkward.
Have you had anything like that on Trash Talk?
Well, I'm trying to think. Again, going back to Cam Nuggets. Cam Nuggets was the guy that was like, you know, covering all the Mr. Beast stuff. And there was a situation he had where he was in a private Discord, or like a Discord server. And some kid joined and like flashed his ass or whatever it was, right? Some really weird stuff.
The fuck?
And he left the VC. It was like, whoa, reported it like he should have done. But instead of just leaving the server or just like shutting it down for the day, he then just went back and got into like a different VC in the same server that was also open.
Okay.
And asked him like, why did you do that? It's kind of dumb, right? Like I'm not accusing you of anything here, but like, what was the thought process there, right? And he like started jumping to conclusions, saying I was trying to accuse him of being a paedophile, and then left.
What the fuck?
And like I was just trying to ask him like, why would you just like risk it, right? Like you've seen that, why would you risk it? And he kind of jumped to conclusions because like other people were like making jokes about him and stuff. So like I've had that to a certain extent. There was another guest I had on like really towards the start of Trash Talk, probably almost 3 years ago when we started. She joined. We were talking pretty casually. She found out I was gay, called me a faggot, and then left.
What the hell?
So yeah, like I haven't had loads of like weird guest experiences, but there's been a couple, and I think you've just got to try and like riff off them, right? Try and make the best thing out of a bad situation. With the Cam Nuggets one, it was easy, right? Because it was great content. Yeah. And you just got to try and like find workarounds. And like now, when I get like bigger guests on, I'll always ask like, you know, is there anything you don't want to talk about, right? I've got a bigger guest coming on soon that I like can't say, but was involved in one of the really big recent stuff. And you know, like when he comes on, I'm going to ask him, you know, like, do you want this brought up? Do you want this spoken about? Because I think sometimes, unless it's a guest that's done something wrong, I think it's always nice to, you know, offer them a chance to decline that topic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But of course, that only comes from like experience with asking a question and it going horrifically wrong. Like you don't really instinctively know to do that. But podcasts are great, man. Podcasts are great, and hopefully you'll end up doing another episode soon, in a few months when you feel like doing it.
Bro, eventually we'll make a podcast episode. I don't know when, but
yeah, it'll happen at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point in the next, you know, couple of years, there'll be one at least.
Yeah. There you go. Next couple of years.
yeah. Don't put a time frame on it. It's commentary. It's commentary,
bro. You get so many just fucking weird people on here, but I mean, it's funny. Like I find it entertaining. So
yeah, I mean, it's always great. I think there's just so many like deranged people. I think there should be a commentary, right? It's really 50-50, right? It's either like people that have like a life and just do it for like a passion thing, or like do it on the side, right? Maybe it's even their full-time job, or people that are just like chronically online, right? Obsessed, right? People like, you know, Tipster, right? All these other weirdos, right? All these other like big fatties, right?
Bro, I forgot about Tips. I mean, I mentioned Tipster earlier, but like fucking hell, what the hell does Tipster do now? Is he still in commentary? Because that fucking fat fuck keeps transitioning from commentary to just I'm not gonna. I quit commentary. Is he back at it? Do you even know Samuel?
I think he's doing like gaming stuff now.
Oh, now he's okay. Now he's like officially moved on. Okay, finally.
Because Keffel's kind of like ran away, and he didn't have anywhere to go. Yeah, he's doing gaming stuff now. Like he uploaded 2 days ago actually. Resident Evil 2. It's not doing great, but he's streaming like pretty regularly. Fair play to him.
I'm banned. I'm banned in his like live stream chat because he was eating like Doritos and I put Tipster eating as usual and he saw it. He went, "Shut up, dude," and he banned me from the fucking comments. So I was like, okay. So, I also went on my second channel. I said, "Can I like snuggle in your belly flaps?" And he was like, at first he took it well. At first he was like, "If the price is right," and then he goes, "No, fuck that. That's fucking weird." And I got banned.
He's such a weird guy. I mean, like. My one experience and interaction with him was I remember joining a server, right? Like this was probably like the height of the Tipster stuff, like last summer, right? Like a couple of months before, like it really got kicked off again. And I was in his server, and his moderators and him were just talking about lube. So I took a screenshot of it, made like some dumbass tweet, whatever. Like in my opinion, it was a pretty funny tweet, right? I get back in there, I'm talking to one of the like kind of normal moderators. I'm in a call with like this moderator, Ace or whatever, and we were just chilling there, whatever. Tipster come in, like starts shouting at me, reads my tweet out and goes like, "Get fucked."
What the fuck?
And then he blocks me on Twitter. Like, all right.
What the hell?
He's just really angry, like really weird, really angry. Was just weird. Like I think my tweet maybe had like 5 likes, 10 likes, like. Wasn't doing like amazingly. It was just like a tweet, and he got obsessed.
I got banned. I got not banned. I got blocked from Tipster because someone replied to one of his tweets. "This is cringe," and I liked that tweet. And he the fucking guy clicked on who liked the tweet and blocked the people who liked the fucking tweet. I was like,
so weird.
Really? Like you're that fucking sensitive, bro? Fucking hell! It's the internet.
Middle-aged married man.
I know.
Just obsessed. It's what makes it so funny with some of these people. It's like Dark Viper. Like I made one tweet. The motherfucker like just had a meltdown and blocked me. It's like, bro, you're like 32, right? You're old, right? Like, why are you having a meltdown over like Twitter?
It's so weird. Just bro, it's not that deep. All right.
Yeah. I mean, most recently, I like that viral tweet, like quote tweeting the weird skibbity toilet Fortnite tweet I made, right? And it's like you make a response and you just move on, right, and let them do their thing. Yeah. You don't like block them. You don't raise too much attention. You just kind of like if you want to do anything, right, you mute them, right? You just mute it and then you just move on. But these people can't distinguish it, and that's why commentary is so great. Because like half the people in there just can't stop themselves.
Back like a couple years ago, I was like a tiny bit of a troll on Twitter. Like I would reply to people's tweets saying like dumb shit. I've been blocked by so many. I've been blocked. I'm blocked by John Swan, Dr. Skipper. On one of my old Twitter accounts, for some reason, I was blocked by Willie Mack, and I've never interacted with Willie Mack show ever in my life, and I was blocked by him. I was like, what the fuck did I do? I'm blocked by Nicholas Diorio.
I was in that boat for a while.
Yeah, right. Because like I think I called him. I made a fat joke, and he was like, "No, this is not funny," and blocked me. So I was like, "Okay, well." Fuck, just so many people. I'm like, it's not that. I mean, I understand why I was blocked by John Swan and Dr. Skipper because like I replied to one of their tweets with hashtag apologize to Camai. So of course they didn't like that shit. So. God, yeah, a whole bunch of people. So,
I mean, with commentary, it's really easy to like trigger people and get a reaction. It's like it's really split. It's like a lot of people know how to deal with it, right? They either just mute it or they would like do like a funny response or whatever, or put a GIF or something stupid like that, and other people freak out. And I think that's why so many people gone after Jake Weddle from the whole Mr. Beast stuff. People have really targeted this guy because he just can't deal with it. He just ends up having a mental breakdown, spurking out. And that's always the best for content.
But it's also funny as fuck. Like it's like there's like two sides. It's like this is really sad, like how fucking crazy you're going, but it's also kind of funny. So just keep doing it, bro. All right, content.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. How desperate everyone gets is always great, right? It's always great for the slop channel on like Twitter.
Like, bro, do you remember Jalen? Does the audience remember Jalen, bro?
Yeah. Hopefully,
her channel would still be alive if she just didn't reply to people, because Lyrics was like trolling her and all these people like fucking with her, and she would always reply and just freak out, and people would make videos because they're like, oh, okay, free content, and people made videos, and she got fucking hate, and now her channel's like completely dead, and I think she's quit YouTube now. So like, just don't freak out, and don't fucking cry, and just don't reply at all, bro. And because she kept doing that, whenever someone gave her like the smallest amount of criticism, she would fucking reply and go crazy, and that's why her channel's dead. And I, as crazy as Jalen is, I kind of like her. I'm cool with Jalen, but it's just it's
like
just
all my interactions with her have been like good, right? Like always been decent. Like never like had any issues with her personally.
Same. I think she's alright, Jalen. I know some people were like, "What the fuck?" The amount of shit Jalen has said. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't know. She's okay. I'm okay with her.
Like so. I think she always just got caught up in her own head and would just like respond, say something really dumb, like double down, then backpedal, and it was always the same thing. And she kind of fucked herself over because like you look at her channel, and because of the drama, it just tanked it. Which is unfortunate.
Mate,
now.
I'm just it also it doesn't piss me off, but I'm just like they're like, what a waste, man! Like 300,000 subscribers. I'm just like, what a fucking waste. Now you can only get like 10K views. Like that sucks, bro. It's just
and that's on a good day. I mean, like I'm looking at like most recent content, and it's like I'm not judging, right? Because like my long form like varies right from like a couple of K to like 100K or whatever. So I'm not judging from that aspect, but shorts. I'm gonna rely on that card there.
Yeah. I was doing well for your channel. You got over 100K from like your shorts blowing up. So well done, bro.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But looking at Jalen, right, 2K, and it's sad because it's like it's not an algorithm thing. It's because people just stopped watching because her reputation was so bad because she just kept responding to stuff.
Oh, all she has, mate. All she has now is just hate watchers, and I'm just, oh, dude. And here's the thing: I believe you can always revive a YouTube channel. Like if you've like, like for example, The Beak. Do you know who The Beak is?
Yeah. Come on, TrashTalk. I love him, man.
He's he made the Jelly Bean video, right? The Beak. Okay, that's the right one. I don't know why I thought I was like confusing them with Dr. Skipper, but The Beak. I remember like at one point his channel wasn't getting like as many views. I remember I was like in VC with a bunch of people and we're like talking about like fucking hell, his channel's dead, bro. Like it's tanked. And now he's doing really fucking well.
Oh, like he's doing incredible.
Like fair play. I'm like, you well fucking done, bro. And like, so now they're like, okay, anyone can revive their channel, but now that I look at Jalen, I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Like,
see,
maybe she can, but I don't know. Like I look at her comments, everyone is clowning her still to this day. Like it's really hard. Like especially Boogie2988.
Oh yeah.
Like I think honestly, I think he can't. His channel's dead like forever now. Like after that whole faking cancer shit and that whole crypto stuff, I think he's like done forever now. Like I cannot see like him like reviving his channel. Like I think it's over.
Oh yeah. Definitely, like, and I think it's always down to like how the channel does or how whatever happens, right? So like, I think it's lolcow, right? If you become a lolcow or like a punching stock, like a laughing stock, sorry, fucking punching stock, or a punching bag, especially with commentary, your channel dies permanently, right? Because it's been tarnished with the audience. If your channel just falls off like the Beaks was for a while, right? You can always rejuvenate it with brand new content and stuff, right?
Yeah,
and that he's done that really well. But with someone like Jalen, because there's just so much content on her, she's like fucked her own reputation up. She can just never gain the audience back. And the same thing with Boogie, right? He will always be like cemented in lolcow live because that's the only thing he can do now is lolcow live because of how much he fucked it. Like you look at Jalen's channel, right? Like Jalen live. Jalen's latest piece of content was a live stream from 2 days ago, and it's got 91 views. And it's probably all either hate watchers or people like the very last few people that like want to interact with her.
I know. I think it's like with Boogie and Jalen, it's just hate watchers because like every time I click on their videos, it's dislikes over likes. The top comments are like, "Bro, put the fries in the bag," and I'm like, "Damn, bro, this." Hey, Jalen, you know what Jalen should do? She should go on Lolcow Queens. All right. She should do that. I think she'd do great on that. All right. Make some money, make some of that YouTube revenue again, or whatever the fuck, So.
I think that would be good. Like all bits aside, I think if she went on that, right, I think it might even like rejuvenate some stuff, right?
Yeah.
New trendy thing. Lolcow seems to have its like massive weird niche going on right now. So I think she'd go for it. I think the thing with Jalen is. Like, everyone kind of forgets about that. And everyone goes, maybe she wasn't so bad. And then she comes back and does something, right? Like with the Aiden stuff. What was it, like a month or so ago? Where she like slammed her like hands down on the desk or whatever and like had like a mini breakdown.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps reminding you that, oh God, yeah, that person was that. They did that.
Bro, I don't know why she does this. She was on Aiden's stream and she was like, "I'm gonna fucking self-harm." I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why? Just
you make a mistake, right, and you like address it and you move on, right? There's no point harping on it for you, or like continue with this cycle of reminding people of doing more stupid shit, right?
I know.
It's just unfortunate, really unfortunate for Jalen.
I mean, maybe because I'm trying to justify why the fuck she does this, and the only thing that I can think of is she's just doing this for attention because people will see that and be like, "Oh, Jalen," they'll make a video. "Oh, Jalen's fucking doing this shit again," and she'll get a bunch of hate watchers and they'll like raise the views a little bit. And because like I'm just there, like there is no justification for this fucking behavior. Like.
Maybe it just gets to a point, right? Like I see, I've never been like that bad, right? Like ever, right? But maybe it just gets to a point where it's like, everyone hates me. Like, what have I got left? Like, it doesn't matter, right? And you just start acting reckless.
Yeah, she's like, my career's dead and everything. I might as well just act as reckless and fucked as I can. Like, she's like, I've got nothing to lose, and I'm just like, bro. That shouldn't. I don't know. That shouldn't be how you should think, bro. Just like, I know it's gonna be hard as fuck, but just like try and like revive your reputation. I don't know, just don't give up, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either that or you just move on completely, right? And let people like kind of forget you. Yeah. Because like, constantly coming back and like reminding people, oh yeah, they were a bit of a lol girl, weren't they? Just kind of cements like that image of Jalen, right? The one that would like spurg out and cry and shout and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately what people will remember her. Not even bloody the Technobilly video anymore.
Shit, yeah.
So it's all breakdowns. Not even that video.
Mate, there has been so much stuff with Jalen. Like, she kept getting into like controversy after controversy. Like, I forgot about that techno shit. I was like, yeah, that's like Jalen controversy number 3. Like, there's like 100 of them now. So,
see, like everyone's fucked up, right? And everyone's done like a few bits or whatever, right? But like when it's controversy after controversy after controversy, and you just don't seem to learn, right? That's when it becomes, like, come on, bro, right? Like,
exactly.
We did this last month, and it's like, like everyone will fuck up. That's just like a natural thing. But it's always about like what you do after, right? How you rectify it, move on, right? Like, I've done dumb shit. You've probably done dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like everyone's done dumb shit.
Everyone has, yeah.
Done stuff that they shouldn't do, and you just own it. You move on, and let time pass by, and it's always about how you rectify that and how you move on and how you act from that point on.
Exactly.
But with people like Jalen and Boogie, they kind of just dig their own graves because they just can't move on.
It's just you can't. They're the type of people you just can't give advice to. Like like you give them any advice, they'll be like, okay, sure, I'll do it, and then they don't do it. Like it's just for some reason these people just can't take advice. They just I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's almost like the community that commentary fosters, right? Is that like it's people that like will be heavily critical to others, but they just can't accept their own like failures or mishaps. And that's fun when you're a new content creator, but like when you're like Jalen level, right, 300,000 subscribers, right, you're doing well. Like this is your job, right? You can't be making those mistakes, right, constantly. A couple of mistakes is always fine, right? You're gonna get critiqued a little bit, but you move on. But when it's every month, that's what you're gonna be remembered for, unfortunately, especially within commentary, right? Like with other communities, I think people forget quite quickly about things. Commentary, like people never really kind of forget about like the lolcows or the people that like made a lot of content for that month. Like people aren't going to forget about like Just a Robot and like all these other lolcows, Mama Max for example. People don't forget about these people.
I forgot about that guy.
Like people don't forget about these people. Like they're always just kind of there. So it's unfortunate for her. Hopefully she's doing well. All things aside, because I don't think she's like an awful human. I just think she's a bit of an idiot.
I mean, I don't know. She's just going through some shit, I guess. Like, I don't know. I guess she just can't control it because I don't know how else to justify it. Like, who knows, bro?
I think just like wrapping up this, but I think for her, it's always like she just isn't made for like online stuff. I just don't think she can cope. As well,
I mean,
right?
yeah. That's what I mean. That's a good point because there's why else would you fucking like continue freaking out about this stuff?
Yeah.
So.
No one can cope, which just is what it is. And if you can't, you just log off, right? And you go, isn't for me.
Yeah.
And it seems for the most part, apart from the occasional comeback, that's what Jalen's doing for the most part. So hopefully nothing else happens with Jalen, and she kind of just like stays in a little corner.
Like we've had enough Jalen controversies, bro. So
yeah, we need something fresh, right?
The
I'm Malik stuff this year, that was like a nice refresher. Mama Max, all these other people.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Cody, mate, we've had so much shit this year. Cody Code, Dr. Disrespect, I'm Alex, fucking Mr. Beast.
This year has been, it's been insane. And it's always weird, right? Because like this year, I think it's probably been like the most drama-packed year that we've had in ages, right?
I know. It feels like I remember back in 2016 there was so much shit. Like, I watched a bit of content like back in 2016. There was like so much stuff, and like 2024, fucking hell, it has been like, I don't know, now in 2025 it's going to be completely dead, but like this year has been like great for fucking content.
Well, that's what I'm kind of worried about if it's like going to be dry next year, because I mean we've had so much this year, like loads of content, like it's been insane. And you know, like fortunately for myself, I've been able to get involved in bits of it, like with the Rosanna stuff, I'm Alex, and all these other situations, right? And it's been great. So I'm hoping next year like isn't completely dry. I don't think it could ever beat out this year. I think this year has probably been like the most content ever since like 2017, 2018.
Oh yeah.
Probably definitely beat out some of those years as well. Just drama after drama after drama. But yeah, I mean, hopefully 2025. You know,
I mean, they'll always be drama. It just like depends on how much there's going to be in one year. So like there'll be drama in 2025, but like I don't know if it'll be as good or like worse than 2024, but we'll just see. And I mean, if there's not much drama, like it is what it is, bro. Like I can't control it. That's why you make a documentary type video on like past dramas. There you go. Just fucking member berries on that shit. So there you go.
That's why you have all your different type of channels. One for slop, for if anything does happen. One for like documentary stuff. You know, keep it going.
There you go.
I mean, hopefully, like some of the stuff that we have like in 2025 is on the same level, right? Because I felt like there was some really huge, like I Am Alex stuff was everywhere, right? Especially like, of course, in the UK, that was like #1 thing. Mr. Beast was just massive. But you know, I don't think that it can really get higher than some of the dramas we've had this year. But you know, we'll see. There'll be some other retard that you know we didn't expect.
I mean, exactly. Like, who knows, bro? Like, because fucking hell, I didn't know. There's been so much shit happening this year. So like reflecting back on it, like fucking hell, it's actually been a good year for commentary.
I mean, half of it just happens accidentally. Like I mean, the I'm Alex stuff. You know, I'm going to be a bit biased to I'm Alex stuff, of course, right? Because of my involvement. But I mean, like, I remember being in a call with like Meme Frog, Spinling, being on TikTok, seeing like a little search bar like on the TikTok comments, like after like a weird gay e-boys in it that said like I'm Alex allegations. I clicked on it, came up with Alice's TikTok page, and I found the stuff, made my tweet, and you know, the rest was history.
Oh yeah.
And it just happened accidentally while I was playing Fortnite. So I mean, it just stuff happens, right? So you know, so something crazy might happen next year, hopefully. But man, I really do appreciate you coming on TrashTalk. It's almost been an hour, which you know, it's gone crazy by.
Brilliant.
Flown by. Good episode, right? Like I said to you.
I mean, Samuel,
an hour long.
I've enjoyed myself on here very much, and thank you for having me on. It's been very, very entertaining for me. All right.
Yeah,
it's
no
been
worries,
good
man.
talking to you. All right.
Yeah, it's been great to finally like have a proper conversation with you. Of course, like you know, I speak to Spinling like almost daily. You know, see your content a lot, like you're around a lot. So it's nice to finally have like an actual conversation where we can sit down and talk about some stuff.
Yeah. It's been cool speaking to you about like trash talk and shit like that. Like and like reflecting back on stuff. But yeah, it's been very cool, mate.
Yeah, so I thank you for coming on, and for everybody watching, thank you all for watching today's episode of the TrashTalk podcast. If you did enjoy, please feel free to go down and subscribe, and once you're down there, you might as well just comment down your thoughts of this episode. But I've been your host, Samuel, I've been here with Kluster, and I will catch you in the next episode of the TrashTalk podcast.